Hey everyone, welcome back to More Than Marketing. I'm your host, Arsham Mirshah, and I'm switching up the format a little bit. I used to have guests with me. Now I'm going to kind of try a different format where I give you the latest and most impactful kind of digital marketing news and tell you my opinion on it, what it means for you, what you can do about it, and try that as an angle. Might have guests come on, might not, but for now, let's get into it. So today I want to talk about 4 different topics. The first of which being Microsoft advertising. So Microsoft controls Bing and Yahoo search engines. They have their own kind of ad network for display as well. But Microsoft has rolled out product audiences and similar audiences. And that's now in open beta as of September of 2019. And it's exciting because it's new technology, it's new features that you can use. It's kind of about time. That's my opinion. Facebook had lookalike audiences from I can't even remember when. It was so long ago I can't even remember. Then Google came out with similar audience or expand your audience. Then LinkedIn came out. Now Microsoft has bought LinkedIn, so now Bing and Yahoo Ads has that as well. So product audiences is similar to like a Google remarketing, where you do a search for a product and you don't buy it, and then you go about your way on the merry web and you see an ad for that product, and you're like, whoa, someone's following me. Yeah, so that's Google doing retargeting or remarketing specific to the product that you're looking at. So product audience is open beta right in time for the holiday season. And then it's triggered just like Google by product ID. So it takes an advertiser to set it up. There's some technology and some tech behind it, but it's pretty easy to set up relatively, and it can be really impactful to get people to come back to your site and buy the product that they were looking at, right? Then there's similar audiences. Similar audiences is like to expand your remarketing audience. So let's say you have 1,000 people that come to your site. Presumably those 1,000 people are relevant to your business. Well, there are tens of thousands of people who are relevant to your business. Only 1,000 of them are coming to your site. Now what you can do is you can tell Microsoft, Bing, and Yahoo to say, hey, now retarget to not only the 1,000 people that came to my site, but also help me expand that to people who haven't come to my site but look like the audience that is coming to my site, my visitors. Microsoft is using AI, machine learning, and looking at tons of data points and variables to tell you who or find these similar audiences, right? So similar leverages our ability to take partner data and extrapolate it across the Microsoft audience to improve conversion rates and ROI. There was a quote in here that similar audiences pilot advertisers saw 70% higher conversions, says Microsoft. Exciting thing, definitely something to try out. Look, Bing and Yahoo ads have been really highly efficient for some audiences or for some of the clients that we work with. Especially those that are targeting maybe an older audience or maybe an audience in B2B or subcontractor or government contractors or just non-tech savvy folks, right? We've found very highly efficient cost per acquisition on Bing and Yahoo. So definitely something to check out there. Moving on, next, big announcement from Google. Again, back in September, they rolled out their biggest search engine algorithm update since, they say, 10 years ago. So it's the biggest since 10 years ago. They've had several algorithms come out, Penguin, Panda. It's like Google's starting a zoo or something. They name them all after animals. I don't know why. This one's not named after an animal, though. This one, well, actually, it might be named after an animal. So it's named BERT, B-E-R-T, sort of like Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street. I don't know if Bert is an animal or not. No, he's not. I'm not up to my Sesame Street, but that doesn't matter. BERT, if you are super technical and you want to know what it stands for, is bidirectional encoder representations from transformers. Now, let me make that in layman's speak for you. So, a transformer is a word like to, or from, or for, or no. For example, if you were to search Google for parking on a hill with no curb, before BERT, before the algorithm update, you would get a search result, like the first result would be about parking on a hill with a curb, right? So it would kind of ignore the word no, or otherwise not give it the treatment that it needs. Whereas now, bidirectional encoder representation of transformer, it takes that no word, that transformer, and sees what's around it, right? No curb. Okay, curb's the next word. Great. I'm going to show you a different result, one that is about, parking on a curb without a curb, on a hill without a curb. Another example, for instance, would be like Brazil traveler to USA needs a visa, right? So before BERT, you would see something that says US citizens can travel to Brazil without the red tape of a visa. Well, that's US citizens going to Brazil. But if you read the query again, it's Brazil traveler to the USA. So now after BERT, it's saying, Google is taking that to and saying, oh, Brazil came after, or Brazil came before the transformer, and then USA came after it. So now let me change my search results, and the search result is U.S. Embassy, consulate in Brazil. So it's actually a better result. So what's this all mean? Basically, look, Google's mission is to organize the world's information. Okay, so when they release an algorithm, it's their aim is to make the results for your queries better, more accurate, more precise, more specific to what you're looking for. What can you do about this? Really, what you're going to do is just continue to create awesome content, specific content that helps your users, not content for your search engines or to game the search engines, right? Gaming the search engines, search engine optimization. When search engine optimization first started, I don't know, 2004 maybe, or really before that, whenever Google came out, that was the first search engine optimization started, right? It was really easy to game the system, right? You put white text on white background, stuff the keywords, meta tag, and none of that stuff works anymore. In fact, it penalizes you. Google's really smart, so let's not game the system. It's gaming it only is getting harder and harder. But search traffic is growing. The number of people that are searching is growing because more people come on the internet every day. They use it to answer their questions. Now there's voice search with things like Alexa and Google Home. So search traffic is only growing. Queries are probably becoming more specific. I don't know that for a fact, but it doesn't really matter. So you have to create awesome content, specific content, help your users, and you're going to win. All right, moving on. The online ad world is murky. I would agree with that, generally speaking, as a ad agency. And a group of companies want to fix that. Good. 16 companies are coming together to bring more transparency to online ads. This is led by the CEO of MediaMath. MediaMath is a leading, maybe the largest, I'm not sure, programmatic ad platform out there. So this is advertising technology. There's a lot of kind of black box when it comes to ad tech, specifically programmatic, display, real-time bidding, where, you as an advertiser don't really know when you spend $1, how much of that dollar is going to actually buying the media versus all the middlemen in between that, purchase that media for you or place it or what have you. So not only that, there's also a lot of fraud out there. Fraud, from smaller ad tech platforms. They could be just boasting their impressions, just reporting numbers that are not real, from reporting impressions as just impressions, not viewable impressions, right? Like if a web page loads, but your device only is showing the top of it, the above the fold we call that. Well, if there's ads down here at the bottom of the page that have loaded, the ad platform is going to say, yeah, that was an impression. But if the user never scrolls, they never saw your ad. So that's kind of like murky, maybe borderline fraud, I'm not sure. There's even click farms out there where you can just hire, people usually overseas, relatively low-cost labor to do certain queries or to go to certain sites, get the retargeting ads and see the impressions and click on them. And it's not pretty, right? Especially, again, in the programmatic space. So this kind of coalition is brought together to add transparency. So from the advertiser to the ad agency to the ad platform, and basically possibly move money away from Google and Facebook, the two biggest ad platforms on planet Earth. I don't know what's happening on Mars. I haven't checked. We'll ask Elon. He might know. But yeah, Google and Facebook, they have the biggest inventory. They have the biggest kind of data set. So they have the largest audiences. So a lot of all the advertisers go there first, right? But this is actually really good news. It's really good news for advertisers. It's good news for ad agencies. We want to know where our clients' money is going so we can better optimize, undoubtedly. And it's maybe not so good news for ad platforms, but I think it is in the long term, right? Like, I think more and more dollars are going to continue to come online into digital ads. I think it'll continue to grow. All the projections say that's the case, and we don't want a place that we don't know where the money is going, because that can only hurt the growth, right? We know that there's ROI to be had. It's just let's optimize that and let's be fair. Is basically what this group is saying. In the group is Oracle, IBM Watson Advertising. I didn't even know IBM Watson Advertising was a thing. Blue Kai was bought by Oracle. They were, I think, the biggest data platform, so they would sell data that you would want to use for targeting on these programmatic and display platforms. So good news. It's this coalition is coming together to add transparency to the ad world, and I think that's a very good thing moving forward. Last but not least, possibly the most important as it pertains to your website, is page speed. Backlinko, a very popular blog, SEO blog actually, but now seems like they're expanding into more digital marketing. They did a page speed test where they tested 5.2 million web pages, and they found the following: that a fully load of a web page is 10.3 seconds on average for the 5.2 million that they tested on a desktop, 10.3 seconds on desktop, and 27.3 seconds on mobile. Holy smokes. That's almost 3 times longer to load on mobile, and that's likely due to bandwidth, mobile bandwidth being generally slower, but that is alarming. Now, they also found that page weight is the number one determinant of the page speed. So page weight is kind of how much text is on the page, but more importantly, how big the images are that are loading. There's other things such as the JavaScript and the CSS files and other files that load to make the web page work and look the way it looks. But the biggest weight comes from images, right? So huge images that are uncompressed, they are the number one determinant for how fast or slow a website is going to load. They also found that third-party scripts significantly slow down page loading speed. Each third-party script can increase load time by an average of 34 milliseconds. I know what you're thinking, milliseconds. All right, Arsham, Milliseconds is no time, right? Like that doesn't matter, but it does. 10 years ago, and don't worry, I'll update this stat for you. 10 years ago, Amazon did a study, and they found that for every 100 millisecond delay in their in Amazon's e-commerce site, every 100-second delay would cost them 1% of revenue. That's huge, right? So if it's a whole second, right, 100 milliseconds times 10 is a whole second. You would, or no, yes, 1,000 milliseconds a second. They would see 10% drop in revenue. That's crazy, right? Now, updated that now in 2017, Akamai did a study that said every 100 millisecond delay in a website can hurt conversion rates by an average of 7%. So it got 6% worse now, Akamai is reporting. And that makes sense to me because now, as of I think 2016, mobile connections and searches are outdoing desktop. In 2016, mobile took over desktop as connections and searches on the web. So more and more we're living in this culture of like now, instant, quick, give me my result, give me my my purchase or whatever, right? Maybe millennials of today and the future generation who's going to be making the purchases, they don't remember a time with no internet, let alone or dial-up, let alone no internet, right? I remember dial-up, and I was thrilled when we got cable internet. We could now game. It was awesome, right? But anyhow, let me read some other stats. Google did release an image that showed that the probability of a bounce increases by how many seconds your page load time is. So if it's 1 to 3 seconds, your probability of a bounce is only 32%. Not bad. If your page speed is 1 to 5 seconds, it becomes 90%. 1 to 6 seconds, only 1 second more, that 90 becomes 106%. And then up to 10 seconds, 123% probability of a bounce. It increases by 123%. So anyhow, page speed is really important. Now, what can you do about it? Well, number one, you can test your page speed. There are tools out there. Google has a tool. I'll link to it in the show notes here. Pingdom has a tool, tools.pingdom.com. I'll link to these in the show notes so you can get to them directly, or you could just Google, Pingdom page speed test or Google page speed test, and the number one result will be the one that you want. That will show you how long your site or page takes to load, and then what you can do about it as well. Typically, you're probably going to need a developer for this, but there are tools to help you compress your images and remove external scripts that you don't need. So you can look out for those. But yeah, this is very important. It's kind of a web developer techie type topic, this page speed thing, but the reason it's important for businesses is because it could directly impact your conversion rates, therefore impacting your bottom line. So that's it. I covered 4 things today, and I hope you like this format. I'm gonna put in the show notes. We'll put all the links to the different articles that I covered. Give us some feedback. Let me know what you think about this. I want to keep bringing the news to you because it helps me stay on top of this industry that's changing faster than our underwear, and hopefully it helps you hear what's going on in our world and what you can do about it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share this with a friend who's in the digital marketing world, and we'll see you next time on More Than Marketing.